So entropy is mostly related to the thermodynamic systems. For example, if a system is very good, has a very good balance or close to equilibrium, there is a low amount of entropy. So take, for example, if you are a school teacher and you have cafeteria duty, you're walking around watching students eat their lunch and they're talking. Everyone's staying in their seats, and if they need something, they can raise their hand. You call on them, let them do what they need to do. They return to their seat. In this environment, it would be an example of low entropy. There is order, and there's an understanding of what's supposed to be going on. In another system, if there's chaos and you need lots of information to describe the environment, then it's a high entropy environment. So following the cafeteria example, you're a teacher at a school and you still have cafeteria duty. It's the next day, but you're late. And by the time you get to the cafeteria, all the students have got their lunch, but to your amazement, there is a huge food fight going on. And chaos all around. Kids are screaming, there's food flying, and you're stunned. So it's going to take lots of you doing something to get those kids under control. So you might use a loud voice, a megaphone, whistles, to get that chaos to stop. At that moment, that high amount of chaos, that is an example of high amounts of entropy in that cafeteria. So the order can be produced in natural systems and in the earth. They can be produced by an expenditure of energy. And that energy is associated with life on Earth and is produced with the aid of the energy of the sun. So everything, all the energy comes back to the sun. So if we take another example, plants. Plants use energy from the sun in those tiny energy factories that are called chloroplasts, and using the chlorophyll in the process called photosynthesis. They convert that sun's energy into a storable form of ordered sugar molecules. So ordered being your low entropy, and the way that it gets this is by the disorder or high entropy of the carbon and water molecules that it gets from the earth. So those carbon and water are in a more disordered state and are combined to form that more ordered sugar molecules. So in the animal system, there are also small structures within the cells that are called mitochondria. And these mitochondria store energy in sugar molecules from food and in the form of highly ordered structures. So this would be, the highly ordered structures would be a low entropy. But they get it from the plants, which started out with a high entropy, converting it into a low entropy when it gets the sugar molecules into those ordered molecules. So if we think a little bit farther and take, for example, a tree. And I drew a tree here. Okay, let's see if you can see it. So in the tree starts with the raw materials. So the materials that the tree needs to be able to survive are found in raw forms on Earth. These are your gases and your liquids. Okay, they have a high entropy or high disorder. So the tree takes in the CO2 from the atmosphere, and it takes the sun's energy and the water from the earth, okay, in small amounts of water vapor from the atmosphere as well. From this disorder, it produces highly ordered and highly concentrated sugar molecules like glucose. Okay, and that glucose is up in here in the leaves. So then the radiant energy from the sun's transferred, and those bonds of energies of the carbons and the order of the other atoms in the glucose molecule. In addition to making the sugars, the plants are also release that oxygen back into the atmosphere, which is essential for animal life and human life, of course. So then if we look at the leaves use that energy from the sun in those tiny factories called the chloroplasts. Using that chlorophyll, in that process of photosynthesis, they convert that sun's energy into the storable forms of that ordered sugar molecules that we are talking about, which is the low entropy. So these are all essential to the existence of all life on the planet.